Boys Papier. Boys Papier.
Welcome back to another episode of Boys by BA, and I am BA. This is your first time hanging out with us, your first time checking out the channel, and you're interested in positive, uplifting content that can help you grow as a person, then please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Click the bell so that way you get the latest notifications as they come out every week. Every Saturday, we're gonna send out a new video. So today, before we get started, I wanna do a quick little warm up, man. For those of y'all who know or may not know, I'm really big on movies, man. I like old school movies, new school movies. I'm just really a big movie buff. So what I wanna do today is I want you to guess what movie this line is from. You ready? Action. You got the juice now. One more time. You got the juice now. Anybody guess it? No, you didn't guess it? So the movie that line is from, the movie is actually called Juice. And in this movie, you have Omar Epps, who was Q. Then you have Tupac, who was also in the movie, who was Bishop. And they were just beefing the whole time. And then fast forward all the way through the movie. Once Q was victorious over Bishop, a young man came up to Q and said, "You got the juice now." In that voice and with that face. You got the juice now. So today, the thought that I want to come from is, you got the juice now. Basically what that means is that now you're in charge. Now you are the leader. Now it's up to you. Now the people are going to follow the lead that you set. And today we're going to come from Joshua chapter 1, verses 9 through 11. That's Joshua chapter 1, verses 9 through 11. In this particular text, man, Moses, who was the leader of the children of Israel, he had just died, and his successor was Joshua. And Joshua was not a leader. Joshua really didn't know anything about being a leader. So God told Joshua, look, I need you to be very strong and courageous because you're going to be the new leader. He tells him again, I need you to be very strong and courageous because you're going to be a new leader, man. And being a leader is not an easy thing. And so God wanted Joshua to get his mind right because he knew that leading people was not an easy thing. So, which brings us to bar number one. Bar number one is leadership requires toughness and obedience. I'll say it again. Leadership requires toughness and obedience, man. God tells him, he says, didn't I command you? He's asking a rhetorical question, meaning that we don't really need no answer when it's rhetorical. He said, didn't I command you to be strong and courageous? Don't be afraid, don't be dismayed. God is basically saying, look, I need you to be strong. How many of y'all have ever seen the movie The Wizard of Oz? Show of hands? You? Okay. Not The Wiz, not He's on Down the Road, but the original Wizard of Oz. So, you know, you had the Scarecrow Man, you had the Tin Man, and then you had everybody's favorite, which was who? The lion. And what did the lion lack? Courage. So the lion, he was like, oh, I'm a lion, but I'm so afraid. Oh no, I need a new heart. I need courage. Oh, boo-boo. All right, that was that lion, man. That lion, he had no courage, man. He was weak, he was soft. I know we live in a day and time where being weak and soft is promoted, man. But look, scratch all that. In the text, God is telling you to be strong and courageous. So when you're leading others, man, you got to be strong and you got to be courageous because they need that. You need a leader that is strong and courageous. And then the second part of that is leaders need to be obedient. God had already commanded Joshua, look, be strong and courageous. If you scroll up a few verses, he already told him, be strong and courageous, man. And God also wants us to be obedient. I'm reminded of this story. This man, he used to take his dog to the park, a little bitty dog, and he would take the dog off the leash and he would let him run around. And then one day he told him, hey, come on, it's time to come on back home, time to get on the leash. The dog looked back, was like, nah, not today, Jack. I'm gonna just keep running free. So the dog just kept running free, and eventually he had to run after the dog and catch him. And then he got back home and he was upset, and he was telling his wife about what the dog did. And he said, honey, I wanted him to be obedient, and I wanted him to come when I call him. He didn't do those things. Then the wife looks at him and she says, that's what God wants from us. He wants you to be obedient, and he wants you to come when he calls. Oh my goodness, you missed it, man. I don't know where you are, but God has been calling you to a new level. God has been calling you to a new position, to a new height, but you ain't been listening. But God is saying, look, I need you to be strong and courageous because you're about to do something new. You're about to enter into some new territory that you're unfamiliar with. And now that you're going to be there, you got to be strong and courageous. So it says that he tells them, don't be dismayed, don't be afraid, or don't be fearful. So bar number 2 is that don't let your fear keep you from your future. Man, that's my favorite one today, man. Don't let your fear keep you from your future, man. Man, I tell you what, man, in life, sometimes you just don't feel like moving forward, man, because you don't know what the future holds. You don't know what the future brings, but you got to know that you cannot have fear and faith. You're either going to have faith or you're going to have fear. So God is telling Joshua, look, don't be afraid. Don't be a scaredy cat, as the kids say. But he's saying, look, I need you to be strong. As you all know, National Geographic, that's my show. Last time we talked about some crickets and some praying mantis, but today we're going to talk about lions. And when lions hunt, the male lion, he positions himself in front of the prey, and all he does is roar. And then the female lion actually tracks the prey down once the prey turns and runs in her direction. What am I saying? You missed it. The lion in front roars, and then the prey runs because he's afraid. Oh, man. Look, I don't know where you are, but you've been wanting to move forward, but there's something saying, don't move forward. You can't do it. There's something saying, don't move forward. You can't do it like they do it. Don't move forward. You're really not a good leader. Don't move forward. You need others to do what you need to do, man. Look, God is telling you, look, operate in faith and not in fear, man. So he tells them, look, Joshua tells the people, look, y'all know what? In 3 days, and I'm paraphrasing, in 3 days, y'all need to gather y'all stuff, because in 3 days, we're going to cross over the Jordan and we're going to go live in the land where God has for us to live, man. So look, bar number 3 is that real leaders look out for their people. Oh man, real leaders look out for their people. As my boy Rodney used to say, I'm a look out for the cookout. Real leaders look out for their people. So in the text, we see that Joshua has embraced this leader thing, because now he's given some direction. He's given some instructions. In the book of Proverbs, it says that where there is no vision, the people perish. I'm talking to my leaders out there. Where there is no vision, the people perish, man. Look, the people, they need to know their next step, man. And as a leader, you got to let them know, look, these are the next steps. These are the things that we're going to do next. But you got to know that as a leader, you have to inform your people, look, this is what we're going to do next. We're going to do this. This is plan A. This is plan B. This is plan C. I'm reminded of a time when my wife was in the hospital. She had just given birth to my son, and she had a lot of complications. And she had to stay in the hospital for a long time. And she was in the ICU unit when my son was born after the birth. And my son, he was in the NIC unit. And at that time, I had my 2-year-old daughter. It had just been me and her for about 4 months, because my wife had been on bed rest in the hospital due to the pregnancy. And then of course I had my 17-year-old. She was 16 at the time, and she was starting driver's ed. And I just had a lot of stuff going on, man. So I remember sitting down in the hospital, man. I was tired. I would feed my son every 2 hours. I would feed him, and then I would walk to the other side of the hospital to check on my wife and feed her, make sure she was good. And I would do this for about a week and a half. I was just going back and forth. So I was sitting down, just a moment that I had to sit down. I pulled out my book and I started writing. And my mother-in-law sat next to me and she said, are you writing in your diary? Are you journaling? I said, nah, no ma'am. I said, I'm writing my plan out. And what I did was I wrote my wife's name, and then I wrote everything that she needed. Then I wrote my daughter's name, and I wrote everything that she needed. And then I wrote my other daughter's name, and I wrote everything that she needed. And then I wrote my son's name, and I wrote down everything that he needed. So what am I saying, man? I'll say it again. Good leaders look out for their people, man. If you're leading, you need to be looking out for the people that you are leading, so that way they have something to look forward to. They have somebody that they can trust and depend on and believe in, okay? So look, good leaders look out for their people, man. When it comes to leadership, man, you got to ask yourself 2 questions. Number 1, do you like the person? Number 2, do they know what they're doing? Because if number 1 is a yes, then you'll give them time on number 2. Again, do you like the person? And number 2, do they know what they're doing? So the gold bar for today is there is no script to leadership. Oh my goodness. Come on, BA. There is no script to leadership. That means that when you're a leader, nobody gives you a script and say, hey, this is what's going to happen tomorrow, so be ready, okay? This is what they're going to do in 5 minutes, so be ready. As a leader, you don't know what's going to happen. That's why in the text, God tells Joshua, look, be thou strong and courageous. Basically, God is telling Joshua, look, you need to stay ready so that what? You ain't got to get ready, all right? And the question of the day is, what makes a good leader? What makes a good leader? Leave it down in the comments, man. Answer that question in the comments. I'm excited to hear the feedback on this question. So like, share, subscribe, man. Share this video with somebody who's a leader. Share this video with somebody who was in leadership and they feel like it's over. No, let them know, look, you need to get your swag back. Be strong and courageous, man. So look, have a great week. That's my time. Be true to God and be true to yourself. I'm out.